some of us just love our masters, our colonizers so bad, bro. Like, I've been working these digital streets, and I'm just like, yo, y'all the police. Y'all just love y'all master. Like, what's going on? Like, god dang. You know what I'm saying? And I also been hitting shots at the event grifters, right? They don't like, people don't like when you come for them, bro. That's one thing I love about being from the environment I'm from, and being able to transform more too. I also want to talk about being in love with past versions of yourself. Like I almost got like an obsession with this past version of myself. So one thing about breaking spells is like, we got to speak affirmations and speak power over them. So, today, like I said, I got a couple topics I want to hit. First and foremost, if you didn't know, this is a still growing sessions. We doing them live because, to be honest, we don't have the resources and the infrastructure right now to be bringing this to y'all live and in person, bro. Them events be too packed. They be too lit. You know what I'm saying? We don't be having enough time. So this is the road to building the platform digitally. You heard me. And then that way, we can attract the people we need to attract and do the things we need to do without hurting ourselves or hurting anybody else's time. Because out here in Philly, boy, it was 100 degrees like 3-4 days straight. So it was like, ain't nobody trying to be throwing no events in this. Look, I ain't obligated to do nothing for nobody, Brody. I'm telling you, I have no obligations to be doing nothing for nobody. So it's like, that's why I set my life up the way I set my life up, gang. Because I'm like, one thing y'all not going to do is have me out here overworking. That's a fact. Y'all will not have me overworked and underpaid. That's one of the things I want to talk about as far as this colonial mindset, bro. Like this, the African American colony is 40 million plus people large. Like, this is how I'm looking at it these days. It's like they started colonies and put us in colonies so we could build America. I don't see any difference, Brody. I don't see any difference. Like, we still in a colony, G. We still in a colony. Ain't nothing really changed. We still colonized, gang. We still doing other people's work and not getting ownership, equity, or the lion's share of, like, that profit, God. It's still that way. I ain't here for none of that. I promise you. So let's get some of that house cleaning out of the way. Let's pay these bills, man. If you in here, right, you'll see my latest newsletter at the bottom or somewhere on the screen. I don't know how it looks on y'all end. Shouts out to Jim Tree, a wonderful poet that I met in Philly. You dig? They just popped into the chat for a little bit. I want to shout out to everybody that showed love. You know what I mean? And shouts out to everybody who's still growing. The still growing sessions is my way of taking this brand to another level, right? Y'all see the drip, right? You see how we rocking. You know what I mean? We got hats in all different colors. You feel me? We dropping a limited edition piece in the next month or so at the next still growing sessions. So it's like the whole goal of this is to take it up a notch, right? Because we sell clothes and whatever. You feel me? We even got a fly magazine that we publish because we just do different things. You know what I'm saying? We just be on a different type of time. You heard me? Like, we really be on a different time. But my whole goal initially was this was a music project. I was attempting to monetize it. The community reached out to me and said, yo, we need you to take this to another level. We need you to take this to another level. Let me know where y'all at, too. Let me know who's in the chat, where y'all at, what y'all doing, and what does still growing mean to you for the day, right? I'm going to put that in the comments. What does still growing mean to you? That's what I want to ask. to you. I'm gonna pin this. You heard me? But yeah, like, we really just letting people flow into the space for real. Nothing major. We just letting people flow into the space as of right now. So I'm doing what we call house cleaning. You get me? Shouts out to Salone Boy B-Rick, I believe that is. I'm gonna call you Salone. You know what I'm saying? As long as you in here, let us know where you at, what you currently doing, and what does still growing mean to you. And if nothing else, man, share this in your group chat. If you really rock with the game, if you really rock with me, share it in the group chat. You know what I'm saying? Share it in the group chat. I'm trying to share it to my channel, but you know when you be pressing stuff on the screen and it don't be working. Let me see. Maybe I gotta type it in the old school way. There it go. Nah. Yeah, still growing channel. Maybe that works. But yeah, man, let me know where y'all at, what y'all doing, and I'll get started as soon as y'all let me know that much. Fix my little ring light. It's not even mine for real. Oh no, we ain't doing it without the light though. We not doing it without the light though. But yeah, let me know where y'all at, what y'all doing. Yes, Gemtree, I'm doing fantastic, man. Well, let me be honest. I would be over exaggerating if I said that I was just doing all good, right? I would be over exaggerating if I was saying I was doing all good. You feel me? But let's get this right. What's going on with the light? That thing just croaked out on me. All right, well, I have to bring out the heavy artillery then. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to go light on them. But apparently they want me to bring that work out. Apparently they want me to bring out that work. Fuck it. Always gotta have a backup plan out here in these content creation streets, man. That's a fact. Bro, you know, Tony was the one who inspired this colorway. For real. I was like on the fence. I'm like, damn, you think people are gonna... I'm like, damn, you think people are gonna really like want to wear these kind of colors? You feel me? And I'm like, you know, people ain't into colors too much. So I was like low key scary. Then Tony was like, yo, nah, you should get that John. You feel me? Put the phone in front of the window. Yeah, but I don't want y'all to see my house. I don't want y'all to see the crib, but that natural light would be a good John. Let me see. I'm gonna take your advice. You the cameraman. You know what I'm saying? I ain't want them to see the crib. To keep it a stack with you, I ain't want them to see the crib, but that natural light is always the best one. All right, that's not too bad. Like I said, I ain't want people to see my altar and, you know what I'm saying, all my personal business. But this is cool. We'll do it. Thank you, my G. I was like, this is what we're here to do, man. This is what we're here to do. You feel me? This is what we're here to do. Yes, baby is a visionary, man. And that's what I wanted to come up here and talk about. The next event we doing, she's going to be our spotlight speaker. You feel me? Like, she's going to be the one that's going to be leading us with a demonstration about her brand, Eclectricity. You know what I mean? And like I was just mentioning with the shouts out to Marie Handcrafted in the building. If you've never been here before, this is Still Growing session. This is where I'll be able to pour into y'all, man. All right, I got you, gang. Still Growing. It's stillgrowing.us. You know what I mean? You can come pick up your hat at the next Still Growing sessions or anywhere that we're vending. They $20. And then if you want to like get it shipped to you, you know what I mean, it's just $20 plus shipping. You feel me? So it's however way you want to do it. You could pull up to an event and get it that way. And then Simple and plain, you feel me? Or you could cop it now and then I'll send it to you. And when I send it to you, you know me, I'm gonna lace you up. I got some cool pins that go with the hats. And because I know you personally, I'm gonna send you a magazine too. You know what I mean? Because my thing is, I'm all about business, bro, but I'm really more about the people. So it's like, I got these cool pins that go with it that say, I am still growing. And then I got these custom ones too, but they all different though. They all different. You see me? Like, I got a bunch of them. So you gonna get something very unique. You gonna get something very unique. You know what I mean? One-on-one type time. Make it feel real. You get me? So yeah, man. I feel like we've had some motion in here. So I'm actually gonna get started, right? Today's conversation is gonna be about colonial mindsets, right? Like how people need a sense of validation these days. Instead of just looking at how challenging the field is, like if you really looked at how challenging the field is as a mass, you will understand what's truly important to be doing. What I realize when I be doing my work online, y'all, is people be approaching things from such an individual mindset, which is an adaptation from life being so averse. Like when you really think, if people sit down and think about why we become so avaricious and so self-serving, it's because it's in our best so-called interest short term. That's not really in the best interest of your kids, your family, your community, and everyone else. It makes sense when we thinking about short terms, right? You know, a human life is very short, you know what I mean, in the grand scheme of things anyway. So it's like, imagine you taking that very finite, limited experience and then making it even more granular and more insignificant by overcompensating on the short-term moments. You essentially give your power away. You minimize the value of your life, man. And this comes from the colony. You feel me? Like measuring and compartmentalizing and reducing things to a unit of measurement. Everything gets evaluated that way these days, man. And so that's why I want to be intentional about pouring into people, you know, watering the seed that is their humanity, you know, putting some sunlight on the seed that is their humanity, and providing an environment that's nutritious, like the soil, for the seed of their humanity. You know what I'm saying? We could all make more money. Like, my family was military. If I wanted to make more money, I could just go to the military, get me some benefits. I got a good bill of health, all that good stuff. You hear me? So it's just like, I really, shouts out to my guy. I just seen your order just come in too, gang. You know what I'm saying? I just seen your order come in too, gang. I got you. So it's like, I really want to send more healing and more intentionality. Now, I peeped you. That Shopify just click cling. It'd probably be in the recap. when I put that, when I chop this up, that shit gonna be like cha-ching. Real rap. So give thanks and praise, man, every single time. Welcome to the community. And like I said, I'm gonna lace you up with some custom pins and a magazine, let you know more about what we doing. Shouts out to Rock and Roller Zero. Rock and Roller Zero. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I put this, I'm gonna clip this up. Shouts out to Rock and Roller Zero. You dig? Out in Philly. Yeah. It's all about pouring into this brand. Like, cause what you just did was improve my independent media, right? This is what goes into what I was just saying about the colonial mindset stuff. Cause it's like, my life is extremely hard off the plantation, gang. You know what I'm saying? And extremely challenging. The challenges are much more enduring than, you know, the comfort of being able to work within the colony. And I'll break that down even more significantly, right? When you in the colony, right? When you in the workplace, when you're building the machine, right? Short term, everything feels plush. But long term, what ends up happening is you end up doing more damage to the whole than you do even good for yourself. I'll be very specific, right? I'm gonna tell y'all a story, right? Like I said, my parents, they was in the military, right? Now, my dad, God rest his soul, you know what I mean? My dad was my best friend, man. When my folks broke up, my dad took me in and took care of me from the age of like, maybe like 9 or 10 till I was like 17 or 18. And from that short period of time, right, my dad put in 26 years in the military and 13 years as a government contractor, right? And when he was a government contractor, he worked for a business called Northrop Grumman, right? You could look it up. Northropgrumman, Northrop Grumman, right? And what that is pretty much, it's one of the largest military defense contracting businesses. Like they make missiles and guns and technology and all of that stuff. They're kind of like Palantir of today. They're like, you know what Palantir is today with Peter Thiel and all of them? That's what Northrop Grumman was in the back in the day. They got government contracts to build military defense weapons, aka the drones, the surveillance, and etc. of today. And I remember one day when I asked my dad like what he does, you feel me? I was like, yeah, is they ever gonna send you out to fight in the war? And he was like, yo, man, even if they did, right, the only thing I would be doing is pressing buttons and, moving them things along. And I still always remember that conversation to this day, because I remember when he wanted to minimize the impact of his work as far as what that does as far as like creating war, right? And all real, I love my pops. His picture right there, you know what I'm saying, on my altar. I love my dad dearly, down to the bones. But one thing, as his reflection and as his seed and as his son, he nurtured me. And one thing he always tell me is to tell the truth. And it was like, I had to confront him like, Dad, you press the buttons that, harm other people. You dig me? And so this is what I'm saying. If I say it to my dad, I'll say it to you, man. It's like some of that comfort that we get from them jobs, it really be very bad for the people, bro. You know what I mean? Like some of these jobs are very detrimental to humanity. So it's like, I understand where people be like, yo, I'm just getting my money. I'm just trying to feed my family. I'm trying to do this and that. But it's like, my dad improved the military industrial complex that hunts down his son to this day, right? The surveillance, the guns, the infrastructure that was built, they hunt me down every day. They hunt down men that look like him every day. It marginalizes people that look like us every single day. So it's like, sometimes you be thinking you just doing for you just doing for your family, the whole time you making it harder for everybody else. And that's something that we don't oftentimes want to take full responsibility for, right? And when you live the colony mindset, that's something that they teach you, where it's like, stay in your little assembly line. Don't worry about what your work contributes to the next department. If you in marketing, you don't need to worry about what's going on in accounting. And if you in an accountant, you don't need to be worried about what's going on in logistics, right? Just do your role, and then the manager will put all y'all's pieces together, and then that will become a larger project and outcome. But you just need to stay in your lane and worry and mind your business, right? And this is a very, very dehumanizing act. Like, it removes your sense of self-awareness and your power, right? And understanding what the larger, result of your work is. So going back to why I told that story is like, when you buy this hat, you're supporting independent media so that I can actually be 100% accountable for my actions and my impact with my work. You get what I'm saying? This allows me to be spiritually clean and pure with it. Now, I'm sure somewhere across seas, there could be some illegitimate process or practice that goes along with something that I do. I'm not trying to absolve myself. I'm not coming off as if I'm more pure than anybody else. But I make the intentional effort when I recognize, like, look, something does not align with goodness and righteousness. It's time to stop. And these colonies are evil places, bro. They breed evil results, bro. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I really want to speak to the men, because it's like, we say we want to be men and we want to lead this world and we want to build it and stuff, but if we building it with bloody hands and we doing the devil's work, so-called devil, I'm not even a Christian. I ain't even into all of that. I just want to speak in a way that y'all understand. You get me? When you lending yourself to your own dysfunction, when you lending yourself to others' dysfunction, right? Just say you a demon. This is what we saying when we saying we was on demon time. Like, if you know the work you do doesn't contribute to the good of humanity and you don't care, then just say you a demon. Like, just live that. Own that. Don't come over to the people trying to do the righteous work and try to, rip their whole situation apart and tear them apart. Just do your work. Stay on your side, do your work, and we'll see what happens when the scoreboard hits 0. But you know what? As I'm saying this, I'm like, if I was a demon, I'd spend most of my time shitting on your work too if you was a righteous man. That would make sense. Like, my job is to shit on your work as a righteous man if I'm a demon. Right? If my whole goal is to just serve myself and serve, like things that honestly just like benefit my master, right? The person who blessing me with the things that I have because I operate and I aid in dysfunction, my number one job is to come shit on the niggas who do righteous work. That would make sense. So you know what? Keep the game interesting, man. I score, you score. I score, you score. Let's make the game interesting. As a God body, right? I'm like, all right, look. This is why the Still Growing Sessions is good for me too. And shouts out to everybody who pulls up and adds some fruit, adds some seed, adds some water to the conversation, because that was enlightening for me as well. We need ops. The game wouldn't be interesting, right? And we in a time where we fighting for our souls. You dig? Before I go into my next point, right, as far as like the colonial mindset stuff, is like, I remember when I went to college, because I was in the streets and I was like, man, I need to clean up my act. I was in the streets and I was like, I need to clean up my act, y'all. I need to clean up my act. And I was like, man, my parents will be proud of me if I just went to college, right? So like I told you, my dad worked at Northrop Grumman and he was an IT specialist. So I was rocking out with Windows and messing with computers and all of that since I was 7 years old, you feel me? So when I went to college for the IT thing, it was really because I already knew how to do everything. It wasn't like I didn't know how to, my way around a computer. I was just like, let me go in here and go get an easy degree that I know gonna get me paid. Ain't that crazy? That school set us up and we would go look up on the internet and apply for jobs and look for careers based on how much they paid. Most of the people in my comments, anytime they talk about careers, they just talk about how much they paid. I had a white man tell me about why black women are underpaid is because they choose the most low-paying jobs. But I'm like, they're the most important for humanity. Social work and all of that. You know what I mean? Counselors, working with people, human services. And he want to tell me about doing computers and microchips and technology and IT like he being smart. I'm like, that's just good for capitalism. That's just good for devaluing the workforce and creating robots and artificial intelligence that literally removes us from our own day-to-day practice. And then you want to tell me and belittle black women by saying, oh, they choose degrees that pay the least because it's the most important. They've seen dysfunction in their lives. They've seen the horrors and the wrongdoings of the world, and they like, let me go out here and fix it. And that's a person in America's response is, you shouldn't have chose such a low-paying degree. Like, but we've been engineered and programmed for this for a long time. So that's what I'm saying now. That's why I wanted to use this time and do some deep dive unpacking with this live feed, because it's like, I ain't about to be replying to all these crazy comments. I got a post on Facebook right now that got 980 something comments on it, and all it is a bunch of white people belittling me and trying to be disrespectful and say our work ethic is little to none. But meanwhile, our work ethic in the way that capitalism operates is the reason that make them rich. Ain't that so crazy? That people who practice capitalism call you lazy and all they do is make money off your labor. It's the reverse engineering for me. It's the mind fuck to me. It's the destiny swap for me. It's like, y'all tripping. And it's so sad because I think they really be believing it. And that's where the underdog always come back and win, bro. Because some people be so diluted and so delusional that don't be realizing the stuff that they be saying be giving you all the fuel and all the information you know to win and take the game over, right? So that's what I wanted to share, man. I'm gonna move on to my next point, right? Because it's like there's proof in the pudding, right? You know, I do a lot of events. I'm looking at my notes because I got a certain pace I want to keep going now. I don't want to hold y'all up too long. So the next thing we want to talk about is events, right? You know, I've been working with a lot of, shouts out to Blackheart, man, you know what I'm saying, in the building. I've been working on a lot of events, man, and I've been working on a lot of events for probably about, I would say 8 years now. And I watched the space transform, right? From using social media to the pandemic and then artificial intelligence. I'll say those are three main like landscape shifters. Now, I'm not going to get into a whole deep dive dissertation and breakdown, right? That's what the newsletter is for, is where I break down real theories and I give nuance and details and statistics and stuff like that. So just subscribe to the newsletter if you want more deep dives on what I'm about to talk about, right? But I watched these three main things from, like I said, social media, the pandemic, and then also artificial intelligence has dramatically shifted what eventing even looks like today, right? And, you know, it has become much more commercialized. It's become much more corporate, right? The spaces I'm in as an artist, you know, was really more grassroots, more consumer oriented, more artist oriented. And those was the blueprints that a lot of corporate people and a lot of commercial people come through. Then they steal it. Then they go get the sponsorships and the grants, and they go to do the subsidy thing, right? And no diss to subsidies, because money should be reallocated to people, right? Like, but I would think just improve people's payments, right? We're gonna break that down later. I ain't gonna get too crazy on that, right? So let me stick to the initial point, which is when eventing changed due to those three components that I mentioned, it removed a lot of value and a lot of like equity from the space for the people who are the innovators and the trendsetters. Shouts out to Keys to Peace in the building. You know what I'm saying? We in here doing the Still Growing sessions live and direct. You feel me? We in here pouring into the people. You know what I mean? Watering the seeds of humanity, shining light on the seeds of humanity. You dig? Giving soil and nutrients to those who are planted and firmly rooted. You dig? All that good. Yeah. So, I was talking about how, you know, the events, they've been getting kind of mid, bro. They getting kind of mid because it's like so many intricate dynamics that you could find, intricate dynamics that are like found in my Substack. You know what I mean? If you reading that, then I'm sure you tapped in and you in tune. But to give them a brief overview, it's like a lot of the power we still have the power. We just not acting in that power. That's really the issue. The power ain't going nowhere. At any moment, we could just stop giving away our power, and then things would slowly unravel. You feel me? But a lot of people, because things are so challenging, this is what I keep going back to. This is why the conversation is about the colonial mindset today. Because people are faking like they got it, right? Where it's like the only reason that they have it is because they kiss the feet of the crown every time, right? If it wasn't for the sponsorships, big sponsorships, they not selling tickets. They not selling product. They got a big business giving them a bag so that they can harvest all of your data and all your energy and attendance and give it to the corporation who actually has a product or a service they're going to sell you. So when AT&T sponsor something, it's because they're getting your information and now they're going to be aggressively marketing to you. And the conversion rate on, let's say they get 8,000 people at your event, and 10% of those people, which is 800 people, get a phone plan for $80 to $100, that's $90. That's already $72,000 of reoccurring revenue monthly for them, right? Annually, 72 times 12 is like $800,000, gang. So you didn't make no $800,000 off your fucking event. They gave you 10 bands. They gave you 20 bands to get access to your audience. Now, let's say they buy a device. You feel me? Let's say they buy insurance. You get me? Like, and then other brands that they're partnered with, because now you using the phone, you buying products. So there's what they call a LT lifetime fee. Lifetime customer value, lifetime value. acronyms, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, they have a metric that they measure that says this is how much time we normally keep a customer, and this is how much money we make from that customer. So this is how much we're willing to invest to acquire that customer. It's called customer acquisition cost, a CAC. Customer acquisition cost is what corporations look at to determine if giving you the sponsorship is even worth it. So this is what I'm saying. It's all a game. And people will use the words community and liberation and healing and self-care, and that's the most diabolical part about it, man. And I can hear a lot of y'all pushing back, right? Like, oh, we gotta make a living, people gotta enjoy themselves. Sometimes you gotta put the medicine inside the candy. It's like, nah, bro, y'all living in falsehood. It's sad that we've made falsehood and eluding facts okay. And that's part of why I wanted to highlight this very briefly, as far as the proof of why these things are falling apart right in front of us. But we got people who are advocating for it because they don't got nothing else, gang. They got mortgages and kids and car payments and phone bills, and it's like, and if they ain't getting that paper at a certain pace, their whole life's gonna fall apart. They're not gonna be able to put their kid in daycare. Then they're not gonna be able to go to work. If they can't go to work, they're gonna lose the car. If they lose the car, they're gonna lose the house. If they lose the house, they're gonna lose their family, because the people that is around them is only there contingently upon the fact that they making money. Their whole reality will crumble. You get me? And it's in money and a paycheck and credentials hold that together, not their personal capabilities or abilities. You are employed because of what you can do for another person, not because of what you could do for yourself. You cannot mince these words. People try to mince the words. They be like, oh, I'm doing for self because I'm doing for someone else, and when I do for someone else, they do for me, and then I do for self. No, you reward yourself for doing for someone else, right? We got to be very, very clear on what this is going on here, because then you can take back your power, gang. You could take back your power, root. You know what I'm saying? You can get back rooted. I'm telling you. Shouts out to the eclectricity. Shouts out to the eclectricity. My lady makes tea. You know what I'm saying? And the tea is called The Root. My magazine is called Roots Before Branches. That's what this season is about. We're still growing right now. It's about roots. We getting rooted. A lot of us are not rooted. A lot of us is just being propagated from job to job, from degree to degree, to lifestyle, from religion to religion. We not full autonomous beings living in our power, being God body. And that's why I'm here, is to remind you who you really are, gang. I ain't here to mince no words. See, these other people, they want to fool you because they want to get your paper out your pocket. Yeah. See, they want your paper out your pocket. I don't want your paper out your pocket. I want you to organize with me. I want you to stand on the shoulders of our ancestors and liberate others. You dig? I want you to shine your light. I don't want nothing transactional from you. You know what I want transactional from you? Buy this hat so you can align with other people who are in the same season as you. Buy this magazine so you can deepen your relationship with yourself. I want to sell you tools so that you can continue to work on yourself, right? I'm not about trying to get you to keep buying stuff from me every time I got an idea. Every time I want to improve the quality of my lifestyle, I got to sell you something. I've been working very hard on trying to create systems that allow us to work together. But I will say this, though. As I'm saying this in confidence with y'all, seeing what happened to India Irie lately really made me realize I seen like a quote. I had seen a message she had sent on her Substack where she was just talking about like letting go of the feeling of want to save people, man, and want to save the world and putting the world on your back. Like when you a conscious being and you empathic and you sensitive, you be wanting to help a lot of people. And I feel like you go through this season where, you got to realize like you can't do that all at once. You got to be kind to yourself, and that some of the best work you're going to do is by, working on yourself, especially when you genuinely rooted in helping others. That's what somebody told me the other day on one of my meetings. They was pouring into me. They was like, yo, people like you, TJ, all you got to do is work on yourself, and you automatically help other people because you already rooted and oriented in helping people. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you get something, you already figuring out how you can share it and extend it on to others. So you ain't even really got to be focused on helping other people because you naturally just do that. Right? I feel like when you coming out of a selfishness or like an isolated season, there might be some practices. That's something I reflected on. I'm like, oh, if you was like super survival, super individual vibes, then maybe you do need a season for intentionally helping others. But when you're rooted and you're purpose driven, your purpose is driven by helping others, you really just gotta start pouring into yourself. And that's what I appreciated from India Ari talking so vulnerably, because somebody who's so accomplished and so talented, you dig, you know, you would imagine because of the way that the colony has pretty much instilled it in our minds. Shouts out to Dapper, shouts out to Chris in the building. I mean, we doing a Still Growing Sessions live. We actually about to wrap this up, so if nothing else, tap in with the newsletter, and then you're gonna see the clips coming in soon. Yeah, you already know, G. So it's like, I really appreciated India Ari's words and also her role and just being vocal about what she truly believes about that Spin That song, man. You know what I mean? Whether you agree or disagree, I think it's important. And I always will stand on the side of history for wanting to uplift and upgrade, you know what I mean, the vibration of our humanity. You dig? I don't never want to be the person that's like, oh, we good right where we at, and let us just be where we at, and don't try to improve us. Just let us be where we at. Like, nah, man, I'm always on the side of collective, group, consciousness, economics, and upliftment. So anybody who's on that as well, you know what I mean, I'm going to continue to champion. So with all, you know, with all due respect, right, I got like maybe a little bit more to share with y'all. You know, I normally do a Q&A. You know what I mean? I had a few good sentiments here as well that people mentioned. So it's like, I feel like we accomplished good things here today, man. You know what I mean? I got to speak my mind. Y'all guys, I got some good feedback from y'all. I got some attendance as well. And, you know, we even made a little sale. We made a sale live on the chat. That's a first. We made a live slab. You know what I mean? We made a little slab on the jitty. Shouts out to my friend Dom just falling in the building. You dig? The big one, not the little one. You dig? So it's like, today was very, very, very replenishing, as I was mentioning to her as well today. Shouts out to We Deliver, you know what I'm saying, in the busy. You know what I mean? And I had a very, very igniting moment, man. You know, we ignited today, bro. And I want to affirm and give gratitude to, you know, my father and all of the men that do all the hard work that they do, because I know it's a challenge, you dig, to do righteous work and stand on the side of history that honors and supports all the human families and groups, bro. It's easy to get caught up in this capitalism thing, because it's like, I used to be in the trenches. I used to be in the streets selling hand in hand. So it's like, trust me when I tell you, I've been in a chapter of my life where I ain't care about how everybody else was going to get it. I cared about how I was going to get it and how I was going to get it to the people that I cared about the most. So when people start talking that talk, I already know when they coming from. You know what I mean? First of many. Yeah. You feel me? Peace. And that's dope. One of many. First of many. Shouts out to the gang. And it's like, so I've been there before. I really empathize with people who in that chapter of their journey, especially when they elders, old as hell, talking about something, you got to get it for yourself. I ain't worried about nobody else. The black community is over. They just so pessimistic, and they so like demoralized, and they so defeated. You know what I'm saying? And I just be like, man, how long you been defeated like this? 20 years, 30 years? You just been defeated. You see the women in your community and you disgusted. You see the men in your community and you feel threatened. You see your oppressor and you see money and you see value and promise. That's crazy, gang. And you a man. That's how you rocking out. That's how you sailing your ship. That's how you sailing your ship. You revere other men who oppress your family and your children and your women. You respect them for creating systems that put their foot on your neck. But then you look at your own brother and see a threat, and you see your own mother and your own sister, and you be like, yeah, they falling apart. It's a bid. I can't believe this. Or you just so tunnel vision, right? You just don't see nothing, right? You just blindly accepting this. You just gonna blindly accept this. You don't see no racism. You don't see no infrastructure problems. You don't see no systemic issues. Your people the biggest problem, right? That's it. Black people the problem. we just need to get our act together. But you don't see nothing wrong with all of this. That's a sad man, bro. A lot of these men be very, very sad, bro. They very lonely. They very, very abusive. Emotionally, mentally. They just sad. And they wonder why don't nobody check for them and why they're in constant work. Constant work. All y'all do is work. Because nobody really there for you. You work to help provide for other people just to feel like you got some kind of value. And it's like just so you can hold it over on them because you really want connection, gang. You really want connection. So you think paying for people's stuff going to allow you into people's hearts and minds and in their spirits and that they going to venerate you when you gone. But that ain't how you do it. Just buying stuff and putting your work out in the world. You think your artwork gonna live? No, because you don't be around no people, gang. Art been being made since the beginning of time. Music been being made since the beginning of time. Clothes been getting made since the beginning of time. You think your design gonna like live forever, but you ain't touch nobody's heart, minds, and souls? And I'm on y'all head, bro. I'm on y'all because it's a lot of the men who be just talking real crazy. I can tell you don't have no character, dog. If you just serve yourself and you want people to serve you, you just a tyrant, gang. You just a tyrant in disguise as a working man. And you not even a real tyrant because you not busting no guns at no real big fish. Most people just be in my comments making time to go back and forth with me, but they ain't going back and forth with the biggest ops. They ain't going at it with the biggest of the big. They want to serve them. Get a little cheese, you dig, off the top, and then come around and start arguing with me. All right? Why don't you argue with them people, nigga? You get me? Argue with them about a raise. You ain't gonna talk about no raise. You just gonna talk about people who ain't getting paid. It's just a weak vibe to me, bro. It's a weak vibe for real. Cause it's like y'all niggas don't be outside. Y'all don't be with the people. Y'all don't be doing nothing. Y'all just be going to work, get y'all little paper, pay y'all bills, and be out the way. And y'all think that's a smart strategy. Meanwhile, everything around you crumbling and falling apart. You don't think that have no impact on you, but then you wonder why you don't get no respect in your home. Your children don't want to be like you. People ain't invested in what you create, and you all alone. And then you gonna come around and try and talk to me about why I need to be more self-oriented, get a better paying job, and say fuck the black community. Man, I'm about to get off this live. I'm about to get off the internet, bro. Because it's like y'all so crazy, man. Y'all so defeated, and y'all think this shit. You think it sound intellectual or smart or valuable or valiant. Like, bro, you sound like a P word. You sound like a scary Larry. I mean, that's what we gonna call y'all, Scary Larry, man. Y'all Scary Larry. So that was it. That's all I got for today, man. I just wanted to drop that gem on y'all. Had the still growing session for today. Hold some space. And we about to get out of here, dog. Bless up. Give thanks and praise.